Which one of you sons of bitches took my Poland Spring? One of my boys, he worked for a trucking company. He went to the factory. He destroyed the whole Poland Spring factory, and he shit it all over the water bottles. And yes, the hair's a little short right now. Settle down. Ask your mom how she's doing. Much love to ya. Hey, before we continue today's video, a little hydration nation. Oh yes. This water is indeed the last Poland Spring from the factory. You burned it down, you son of a bitch. You know who you are. Much love to you, too. That's my boy I'm talking to. Shout out to my boy. He's out there working. Much love to him. High alert, editor. You better lock it in. However, before we continue today's video, check the link out down below. Rested XP, your guide through all of Azeroth if you need any help and assistance with quests. Supports the boy, supports the channel. You already know the deal. If not, don't worry about it. Just like the video, subscribe. Much love to you. And let's continue with the rest of the video. Don't get shot in Minecraft, YouTube, family friendly. Let me get off my knees. What am I, working at an OnlyFans? Settle down, alright? Calm down. You guys are a little too bricked up lately. However, guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the runes that have been changed for Paladins overall. We're going to be talking about the tier set items, like the bonuses that you get about Paladin stuff from Holy, Prot, and Ret. We're also going to be talking about tier set colors that were basically recolored overall. We're going to show all the sets for that one. New Epic Rings Datamined. It seems like STV Blood Moon rewards. We're also going to be talking about the Ashbringer placeholder quest, which I'm really curious about that. And then, lastly, we're going to be talking about Sulfuras' Hand of Ragnaros that got updated properties, and we'll discuss a little bit about that juicy information later. So, you best believe it. However, much love to you. Let's get to the main point of the video. So, a new room has been added in place of Seal Martyrdom, Divine Light. So, Seal Martyrdom is now baseline. We already know this, and Divine Light is now like one of the bigger heals that you could do for a Holy Paladin. I believe Divine Light is also going to be placed and switched to the back slot, and you're going to be able to use Hallowed Ground, because Hallowed Ground and Divine Light share the same two slots. So now a Holy Paladin is going to be able to have the ability to use both Divine Light and Hallowed Ground, and I do believe the Holy Paladin, in my opinion, next phase is going to be way higher up in the tiers on the purpose of healing in general overall. I think Holy Paladin is getting a lot more support. They realized that they did Holy Paladin relatively really dirty, and I've been advocating for that for a minute, and I'm very happy to see that Holy Paladins are on the rise to become really good healers. If anything, I know there's, hate on Paladins in general from the Horde, even on the Alliance side, I get it, but if one spec deserves a lot of love, I'm very happy that Holy Paladin is getting that love when it comes to the spec of Paladin in general. Not all the specs, I'm just talking about Paladins. I'm really happy that Holy Paladin is getting the flowers they deserve, because for the past couple phases, they've been getting shitted on in terms of what has been given to them, and I'm really happy about that. Also, one of the biggest changes right now that is going on is that Exorcism is now baseline and Aura Mastery is in place for it. I do think Aura Mastery is more for the Holy side more than anything than it really is for the Retribution side, if anything. Exorcism is nice, and now it kind of did take a hit with Art of War, having that nerf, where now Art of War, it's not instantaneous machine gun, what we're used to for the past couple phases, machine gun style Paladin play, where we're going to have to, not have the fast procs of Exorcism anymore, but it seems like it's really based on more of an 80%, I believe, cooldown reduction with a 1 second time removal. So I do think that it will still be relevant. You still will have Exorcism being your main prio and damage, but I do believe that other things in terms of damage from, the tier set bonuses where it interacts with 2 seals playing at once and then a 3rd seal canceling off, that will be a big priority of your damage, but I think your Judgment is going to be a big prio of your damage as well, because when I was doing the testing, Judgment prio seemed really important, and honestly, it seemed like a lot of Judgment damage was coming from, Judgment of Martyrdom, Judgment of Command, even Judgment of Righteousness. However, overall, I'm looking forward to do more testing and figure some more stuff out before we come up with, what's the final thing to say. However, on a side note, notice the haircut. Much love to you. Just shorted it down a little bit. We're looking all right. Settle down. I'll kiss you. But yeah, I'm really happy with some of the changes here that is going on in general. Obviously, not everything's perfect, right? Nothing can ever be perfect. We always have to discuss as a community. So another thing that happened, the Horn of Lordaeron The rune has been removed, which, I'll be honest, it just wasn't good. And obviously, we got Hallowed Ground, which we were just discussing before. So yeah, Holy Paladins get to eat between both. And Enlightened Judgments has been removed as well. It's just something that wasn't being used. Now, I don't know how I feel about Malleable Protection. You could take actions during Divine Protection, and its duration is increased by 50%, but it only reduces damage you take by 50% instead of granting full damage immunity. I think this will be more something that you would use on the Prot side, maybe tanking side more than anything. It seems nice on paper. I'm wondering if it still probably causes forbearance more than anything if you just pop Divine Protection or if you're using Malleable Protection. I'm not too sure. I haven't played around with this part, but it seems like it's its own unique thing. It says it takes actions during Divine Protection, but if it still causes forbearance, then you'll still have that cooldown on other bubbles. So I'm not too sure how I 100% feel on this particular rune right here. It didn't thrill me as much as anything else, like, besides us getting wings and stuff like that. But even then, I'm not too, overall, mind blown, in general by a lot of the Paladin things that they put, at least on the ret side. It's nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm not mind blown, right? But very interesting to say the least. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll give some more testing before I judge it, all right? I don't want to judge anything. Let's go from there. However, for tier set items, stuff that I actually want to talk about. With the bonuses that you get, what it seems like from this one in particular is the Holy set. It seems like that you increase the chance for all allies to trigger your Judgment of Light or Judgment of Wisdom to 100%, which is really nice. So getting that health back, getting that mana back is really nice. The 4 set seems like it's shared all across the board with the 2% increased critical strike chance with spells and attacks. And then the 6 set bonus for this is whenever your Flash of Light, Holy Light, or Beacon of Light heals the target to full health, you heal all members of their party to 189 to 211 health. So this is a group heal built-in kitted ability for Holy Paladins, and I really like that. I think this is very interesting. I'm very intrigued to see that Holy Paladins are getting more grouped/raid utility, and I'm very happy for the future of them. I really hope they shine and, blow the expectations off the roof, in my opinion. For the Retribution Paladin, we already know this. Your Judgment of Light and Judgment of Wisdom also grants the effects of Judgment of the Crusader. Correct? We've already talked about this in the other day's video, and we talked about how now the Seal of Command, Seal of Righteousness, and Seal of Martyrdom now persists, and now it's this new mechanic where your seals are kind of stacking until you cast a third seal. Now, my biggest curiosity about this, besides the judgments can now trigger multiple seals if active, is that if I activate one seal, and then I activate another seal, and that seal still persists, so now you have Martyrdom and Command, until I cast the third seal, and then it cancels it out, how much delay is that cancel gonna happen? Now, that's the stuff that, us as, Paladin nerds, you have to test out, because depending on the delay of the cancellation between, seal A to seal B going to seal C, right? What is the delay between that middle seal? Is it just like boom, boom, boom? Or is there that small millisecond where that third seal, being seal C, can still interact with seal B? If you follow what I'm getting at, because you got to think about it, right? On the network side of things, on the server side, that seal is still up if it goes boom, boom, boom. I know it sounds a little weird what I'm getting at, but you're following me, right? So I'm very curious to see if there's still some effectiveness of that seal that you could still gain from even that third seal, or just does both those seals just drop? Because if both those seals just drop, this conversation doesn't mean fucking nothing, right? But if both those seals drop, then it is what it is. Then you have your next seal up, ready to rotate into another seal, which those two seals persist until a third seal is active. But I'm kind of curious on what's going to happen, because, they were advocating for seal twisting and all this stuff, I think a month and change ago. And now we have this new set, which is really intriguing, and I'm very curious to get my hands on it. But how does this going to affect twisting? And is it now stacking or twisting made easy, which I'm hearing a lot of people start to say? I'm very curious overall. And the one thing I am noticing, as a Rep Paladin right now, is that a lot of Rep Paladins, we're going to be kind of SOL until we get that full set, and it's going to turn our whole kit online to a whole nother thing. So we're basically going to be missing out on a lot of things until you get that. Now, that's not to say a lot of classes aren't going to miss out on a lot of things as well. Of course, if you don't get your 6-piece set bonus, you're going to miss out on some key things that are going to turn your class online a little bit more. So, but that's a very crucial thing when it comes to seal things. So I'm very curious about that. I want to see what they're going to do with it. And, we'll just go from there and wait in the long run, right? However, for Prot Paladin, I don't know if I went over this, but we increased the block value. Oh, my pops is calling. Settle down. However, we increased the block value of your shield by 30. Heal for 189 to 11 when you block. Can only heal once every few seconds. And the 6th set, Holy Shield no longer has charges. Instead, always lasts its full duration. In addition, its damage is increased by 200% of your shield block value, pretty much. Now, Holy Shield Prot Paladins, I think, in my opinion, they're about to start eating. I think Prot Paladins are going to start coming online because I was testing out Prot earlier. I was in BRD with a friend of mine from the Paladin Discord, Purple. Much love to you. We went out there to go, basically test some stuff. However, him as being as a Holy Paladin, he was doing relatively really good, healing extremely well. And it was just us duo, sneaking our way through the ads. I'm sure I got a clip down here below, and it felt really nice doing some damage as a Prot Paladin, slapping on all the proper tank stuff. Now, in fairness, I'm not naturally a tank. This is not what I normally do. I more do of the ret side of things, but testing around with more tank stuff as I go. It felt really nice. Even still with the 50%, nerf to Hammer of the Righteousness, it felt solid using Avenger Shield, Shield of the Righteousness, using the Cons, or we had to lower the rank down. This way we didn't, basically go completely But Prot Paladin felt really juicy overall. And I could just imagine if I went deep Prot with Holy Shield, and then obviously having this 6th set, this 6th set with Holy Shield no longer having the charges and instead lasting a full duration and increasing the damage by 200% of your shield block value, I honestly think Prot Paladin is going to have a really good place come next phase, coming into these raids, especially within Molten Core, especially within, Onyxia. It's going to be very interesting to see the Prot Paladin's place in general, and I'm very excited. There are some things that I am a little concerned about when it comes to other class tank specs. As you guys all know as well, I know this is not a Warlock video, but I play a Warlock on the Horde side. The one thing I am concerned about them a little bit is how they're going to handle Molten Core in general, but that will be a topic for another video, and I'll give you a sneak peek right there. So settle down, you'll be expecting that video coming soon. However, for the next task at hand, talking about what we would basically use as a Retribution Paladin coming PvE side of things, and just in the future, I guess, of, phase 4, right? Phase 4, that's the phase we're going into. You better lock it in, tell it, don't piss me off. However, phase 4. So, it doesn't show it here, but Divine Light will be on the back end. They don't show it here. But obviously we have the new things with axe specialization and sword specialization, so mace specialization as well, depending on what you're going to go with. Let's just say, figure of speech, we're going with a mace, but normally, we'll come endgame of 60 WoW, more than likely we'll be getting an axe that's really good. Maybe if you, get BRD and you get the Dreadforge Retaliator from Emperor, maybe you go axe specialization, that's fine. And obviously Holy specialization, which is basically increasing the hit by 6%, increasing effectiveness of these weapons by 5. So this is what we're going to basically be rocking with when it comes to PvE. And I'm going to show you right now what we're going to go with, so we'll do it live. So we're going to go in 5 Improved Blessing of Might. I believe we're also going to take Improved Seal of the Crusader. We can go Improved Judgment, Seal of Command, 5 in Conviction. We're going to go... We can Dance with Deflection if we're really taking a lot of damage, so we can, get that parry chance. I would say this is pretty good maybe in dungeons, probably not raid. I don't think you would want to do this 100% in raid. It depends, though, right, on the scenario. But you could do Benediction, of course. If I would recommend, Pursuit of Justice just to get a little bit of speed. A little bit of speed doesn't hurt anybody. Be a little bit faster. One of the biggest things as Paladins and what we're lacking is a gap closer, which I'll talk about that more at the end of this part of the video. At this point, I would say it's up to you. You can't go wrong either or. You can't go wrong either or. We just got to get down into the tree. So we're going to go 3 into 2-hand, obviously, Sanctity Aura, maybe another point into Benediction, Vengeance, which is key, critical here. Now, you could go 1 more into here if you want to go 31 into Retribution. I would recommend 5 into Strength, 5 into improved seal of the righteousness, which is going to be very important because we know that martyrdom is now benefited off of improved seal of the righteousness as well. In general, we would go, which I would recommend, you can even go down the Prot tree if you want to. I think obviously these two are kind of a waste for Retribution Paladin, but if you just needed to, for some reason where there's, let's say, a tank dies and you're in a bad scenario and you macro switch to a sword and shield, 5 into redoubt doesn't hurt. Taking those points into precision, I would even say having a better Guardians of Favor. So you're kind of treating like a PvP spec in a way. It's a little weird, but you're getting Blessing of Kings, which is very nice. It's very crucial to get that 10% stat buff. Now, obviously, if you have a hunter in the party, you don't need to do this. You don't need to go down this line. But if you want to go down more down the holy line, that's a choice of your own well-being. If you want to, maybe, let's say we need a healing light, maybe you want to have the ability to throw off a heal if it's really dire. Let's say your healer dies in the party. So we're thinking about the paladin in the terms of not being selfish, because at the end of the day, we're not warriors, right? As much as, I know a lot of paladins out there believe we're warriors, we're not. We're support class, and we're a spellblade class more than anything. And at the end of the day, we're here to support our party around us. So I think this might be the build to go with. Still to test. It's not finalized. But the one thing I can confidently say, we can revisit this in the future. Maybe in another week or two, or who knows, in another video. But what I would say, which I think is something important, and I think it is finalized, is the runes down below. I think as a rep paladin, you're still going to go with Wrath. It was really consistent damage overall. You're not going to want to miss out on this, and it's going to help out what, overall, the damage from your exorcism, and basically getting additional critical strike chance equal to your melee critical strike chance. Overall, I still think it's really solid. You could play around in a world, even if you want to go for cons to benefit off of Wrath, maybe get a low rank consecration. Completely up to you on how you want to play it out. But in general, I'll let you play the Paladin how you want to play it. This is how I'm considering it, but by all means, if you don't want to go down into Blessing of Kings, you could just switch off of Blessing of Kings if you have a hunter with you and get Consecration, and now you benefit off of Wrath with Consecration damage and also Exorcism, 2 things to play off with. So, completely off to you. Righteous Vengeance. This thing is, in my opinion, is going to be the main back slot to use for Retribution Paladin. Now, Shield of Righteousness, I really actually like this with Prot Paladin. You could even say Righteous Vengeance for a Prot Paladin as well. Overall, in general, Righteous Vengeance made my Divine Storm go up. I was hitting low Divine Storm numbers, 451, 500, nothing too crazy. And then out of nowhere, with all the damage increases, Avenging Wrath as well with the wings, right? Popping all the, the CDs. That Divine Storm was getting way higher in numbers. High thousands, 1500s. I think 1700 is the highest. 1737, something like that. Overall, though, Righteous Vengeance was really, really nice. And it just adds, 30% additional damage over until canceled. I really like it. I'm enjoying it. And I'm going to test it out a little bit more. Just my opinion. Divine Storm, a must. 100% a must. There's nothing else here you want. Seal of Martyrdom is baseline now. It doesn't count. And Aegis got reworked, and it's actually really nice for Prot Paladin, so I'm really happy that they reworked Aegis. It's pretty cool that they have now the modifier with Redoubt. So if you have 5 points in a Redoubt, that's a big deal, because Redoubt now also has 10% chance to trigger from any melee or ranged target attack against you, and always triggers when you deal melee critical strike chance. So Aegis is basically always coming online with Redoubt. And that's a great decision. Blizzard, good job over there. That's not a bad idea, but you're still on high alert. Don't think you're off, you're off the guard yet. I got a bone to pick. However, Divine Storm, yes. Proved Hammer of Wrath, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best options you could pick for a Rep Paladin. For Prot, you want to still go Hammer of the Righteousness, even though it's a 50% nerf, because it cuts down the targets by 2. It still was smacking, and I still think overall, you're still going to want it. It's not the fucking Omega ability it once was. Yes, a lot of people are calling it Wet Noodle. It's funny. Overall, though, you're still going to want to use it. Trust me. When it comes to Prot. But for Ret, I honestly think Improved Hammer of Wrath is really nice. I would say during a boss fight, though, for Prot, In general, maybe switch out to improve Hammer or Wrath if you're focusing more single target, so you can get, you know, that big chunk of damage on the boss. But overall, play how you want to play, right? Still with the hands, Crusader Strike. With Prot, you're going to want to go Hand of Reckoning. And, you know, I think it's just, you know, plain and simple, Hand of Reckoning is better, right? Now, if you're trying to maximize your damage, then yeah, I could see, you know, Crusader Strike being better. But overall, completely up to you. I like them both. I think for, you know, Ret or Prot can both use Crusader Strike. Completely your decision. But when it comes to Ret stuff, we'll stick to the train and say that just stick to Crusader Strike. Sheaf of Light, there's nothing else. There's no discussion. Stay to Sheaf of Light. I think, honestly, a side note, Infusion of Light, now it got its Infusion of Light got touched up a little bit too, and I think Shockanins might start using Infusion of Light a little bit more, so or a lot more. But however, that's a topic for another day. I always get sidetracked. You guys know how I am, because I'm always really excited to see these new runes and abilities. Overall, let's keep talking. With the legs, I'm gonna say now finally, Rebuke or Inspiration Exemplar is your best two options for Retribution, if you're going two-handed, right? So, Inspiration Exemplar, really nice. It's still 2 minutes, but, you know, it dispels fears and sleeps on your nearby party members if you need it. And Rebuke, honestly, having another free kick doesn't really, or interrupt, doesn't hurt anything in a party, you know? Even if you're running in a group, if you're running with a rogue, you know? Or if you're running with a druid, you know? It's fine, you know, another interrupt is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Overall, I'll take Rebuke. And, you know, they didn't baseline it, but they made it in a way where they took other things out, so you can now finally feel happy, like they took Exorcism out. It's no longer a rune, it's baseline. So, you know, Rebuke might have its spot again come next phase, and I'm looking forward to that. Art of War. Art of War did get its hit, and it got its little nerf with the cooldown of Exorcism by 1 second, and the mana cost of Exorcism was reduced by 80%. So it did get its hit. Exorcism is not the machine gun turret build that we once were. However, it's still really good to use for Retribution. It's probably one of your only options. Guarded by Light, it seems like it might take the place now for Prot Paladins, and more Prot Paladins are going to consider Guarded by Light, since Art of War does have that nerf. You're not going to be able to machine gun turret anymore, so it looks like it's going to be a little bit more consistent on how you play off of Guarded by the Light with Prot Paladin tanking. And then obviously your rings, like which we talked about earlier. So basically, guys, that is it. That is everything in a nutshell when it comes to the talent calculator for Phase 4. Now, do note, you can play your Paladin however you want to play. I know I didn't do talent spec into protection. We'll talk about that in another day, you know, in another video, on how we feel is the proper spec to go deep Prot. Because you could go a number of things. At the end of the day, you're still going to want to get Holy Shield. I'll say a little bit about this now. You'll still want Holy Shield, but depending on how you want to play your Prot, if you want to go Divine Strength, Seal Righteousness, and Consecration, and then try to mix maybe some points into Ret, or if you want to play your Prot Paladin with like Improved Blessing of Might, Deflection, and Conviction, and try to get more points into that, completely based on how you want to play it out, right? So it's completely up to you. It's your call on how you want to switch it off. But in general, that is basically the main thing when it comes to Paladin overall, right? We talked about Holy, we talked about Prot, we talked about Retribution. In general, I know there's some other stuff about Shockanin that we didn't really go over in totality, so I'll save that for another day and talk with some Shockanin buddies of mine, and then we'll go from there. However, so the recolored Tier 0 dungeon sets that were data mined from, you know, Phase 4 PTR. This is basically all the cool looking color schemes that they've, I guess, changed up for the Tier 0 sets. So we got the Druids over here, a little bit of greenery, a little bit of mix of the purple. Don't mind me, I'm a little colorblind now that I think about it. Honestly, I keep forgetting that I'm colorblind. I play with a filter on my game as well. But yeah, these are the set colors that they changed up. Hunter looking pretty cool as well. I'm not gonna lie, dude, not to gas us up, but I think Paladin's looking pretty fucking sick with these colors. I like this whole red and gold, a little silver if I'm correct. Maybe I'm a little blind, but black and gold here, I can definitely see that. Priest looking pretty interesting. It's like a grayscale coloring, a very soft color. Rogue, we got the rogue coloring here. I like this one better than the bottom one. I like the top one a little bit better. The shoulders are not too crazy, but I like it a little bit better than the bottom one. Shamans is meh at best. I like the back piece for the Shaman, but I think the other color sets do it a little bit more justice. It's a little bit all over the place, but it's not horrible. Not horrible. I won't hate on it. Warlock looks fucking cool. I think Warlocks look pretty dope. And then Warriors. Warrior looks a little meh. It looks alright. The shoulders look sick. The shoulders definitely look sick. But that's really about it. The helmet's not too bad. But that's basically, you know, the recolored sets. What do you guys think about it? Do you think they're cool? Do you think they're meh? Or do you think they're pretty ass overall? Let me know in the comments below. New Epic Rings Datamined on the Season of Discovery Phase 4 PTR. Blizzard just released the Phase 4 development notes for SOD, and we just datamined several epic rings that appears to be coming in the game for Phase 4. So it seems like we got Rings of the Dreaded Mist. When struck in combat, has a chance of causing the attacker to flee in terror for 2 seconds. Has a proc chance of 2%, and increased damage and healing done by effects and magical spells up to 25. We have another thing that's basically Hunter Prio, which is hit by 1%. 28 AP, increased range of men pet by spell percentage 50%, and effect by 10%, also reduce the cost by 30%. We have Droog. I combined the word Druid and Rogue. Unbelievable. Somebody get me shot in Minecraft. Rogue and Druid. Improve your chance to hit with all spells and attacks by 1%, 28 AP, and increase your maximum energy by 10. That's for the Craft of the Shadows. And the other one was Band of the Beast for the Hunter. And then Loop of the Magister is for, it seems like it's more on the magic side. So, when struck in combat, has a chance of freezing the attacker in place for 3 seconds. Increased damage and healing done by magical spells and effects up to 25. Honestly, this seems really nice for Frost Mage, more than anything. Very curious about that, and how that would work out. Overall, new items are always exciting, but what's more exciting is trying to guess what players might be able to obtain, where players might be able to obtain them. Judging from the item tooltips, we're currently speculating that these rings will be updated in Blood Moon PvP rewards coming to SOD Phase 4 due to the nature of the item sets. Though this is purely speculation at this point, one thing is certain, the above rings are all boasting some really excellent stats for PvP, regardless how they're obtained. Yeah, honestly, I mean, how I look at it, it almost looks like this basically has like some built-in DMF trinket status effect. It's kind of interesting to see that there. And even with like the Loop of the Magister, like, you know, having a chance to freeze the attacker. These 2 rings right here seem really nice for PvP, and I'm really liking these 2 things right here. Overall, they're all good rings, but very interesting equip effects on equip effects, so I'm very curious about that. Overall, though, I am excited to see what they are updating for the vendors, but at the same time, I think you guys already know how I feel about this. I don't care about us going to STV again more than anything. We've been going through STV for like 2 phases already. This might be our 3rd phase. I'm really more curious to see what goes on at the Blackrock Eruption event more than anything, to see what's going to be put there. Maybe these rings are put over there, and maybe it's not really at STV, and maybe we have different rewards at STV. And also, in fairness to my caster friends out there, I would love to see some cool wands and items for you guys and the vendors. For the past couple phases, you guys been getting up the fucking rings. I know this because I've been playing Warlock as well. We've been getting up the fucking rings. It'd be cool to see some wands or some type of weapon for the casters. Just saying, Blizzard, let's think about it. However, much love to you. In the next part of the video, the Ashbringer placeholder quest item datamined on SOD Phase 4 PTR. So for the Phase 4 development notes, it seems like released today, or the other day, we just datamined very exciting related to the renowned Ashbringer blade. We've discovered a placeholder item that has some very interesting text. Basically, it's a joke, it seems like, from Blizzard. Totally real, not fake quest starter item from Ashbringer quest, super duper real, totally not a joke. The tooltip reads, totally real, not fake quest starter. Okay, we read that. This is interesting for several reasons. Ashbringer has existed in our database for quite some time, and is associated with the as of yet unused questline Good and Evil. The placeholder item above seems to imply that Blizzard may be seriously looking into finally letting players start a questline to obtain this powerful sword. In 2023, Blizzard teased that an updated Scarlet Monastery could be coming to Season Discovery, so it's highly likely that Ashbringer questline would task players visiting a newly renovated Scarlet Monastery. If Blizzard is preparing to let players finally get their hands on this legendary blade, it raises the question, will the sword be available to both Alliance and Horde factions? Our best guess is no, though this is pure speculation. While we're already in the realm of speculation, let's go a bit deeper. Say this placeholder item is Blizzard's first step at implementing the legendary Ashbringer. Let's assume that it's only available to members of the Alliance. Will the Horde be able to obtain the equally acclaimed legendary weapon of the Warcraft lore? A weapon like Brozigar's Axe of Cenarius? Perhaps? Question mark. Let's see if that is true, indeed. Again, if this is all pure speculation at this point, but certainly fun to think about, we'll just have to be patiently Blizzard to give us the official word on whether Ashbringer will be actually coming to SOD Phase 4, so keep an eye out on updates as we learn more. So, This is the Ashbringer, as we know, 700 fire damage. You know, the Blade of the Scarlet High Lord, 3.0 swing speed, 247 damage with 30 to 50 holy damage. Overall, though, it'd be very cool. Now, obviously, these stats are, you know, obviously subject to change. We don't know the truth behind the Ashbringer, whether it's going to be within the game or not. But for a long time, my brethrens and my sisters over here at the Cathedral, at the Lords of the Light, and, you know, the Stormwind, the beautiful place, indeed. We've been waiting for a Scarlet Monastery, a true renovation of that place, whether it's a raid, whether it's an updated instance through a quest line that makes SM much harder, where it almost makes it an increased, you know, difficulty dungeon. Not saying heroic or anything like that, but just something that is a genuine challenge, where it's a hybrid of a raid and a dungeon, but it's an instance, you know, and you go in there and, you know, you have to get several different prerequisite items before you can even enter this instance, as long as one person of the instance or party has the items to get into there to obtain the Ashbringer. That would be bad fucking ass. That would be bad fucking ass. I want to see something with Scarlet Monastery for a long time now, and it would be so cool, even as a paladin as myself, to walk through the gates, or walk through the doors of Scarlet Monastery and obtain this beautiful, magnificent item. And I would love to do that with the 4 lucky people who get to be by my side at that day. I hope to see you there. It would be completely badass. And hell, even on the other end, if we get to see Broxigar's axe, depending on where that takes us, if it has to anything to do with Legion, or what kind of interesting things that might speculate, you know, with any type of instance, or taking us to another realm, whether it has to do from something from previous expansions, etc., who the hell knows? I have no idea what Blizzard is cooking up over there. But in general, I'm very excited to see what the heck is going on and what Blizzard is planning over there at the Season Discovery team. So, finally and lastly, Sulfuras, Hand of Ragnaros, updated in Season Discovery Phase 4 PTR. So it looks like, which I'm not sure if this is 100% set in stone, but the Hand of Ragnaros has had its properties change. And I've commented on this on Twitter. Ebonheart, if you're watching the video, you son of a gun, you know this is Paladin Prio. However, much love to you. Go check them out. But, in general, though, it seems like the Hand of Ragnaros now has different stats. +2 more fire resistance added to the weapon. We also have 3.80 instead of 3.70, so we have an increase in the slowness of how this weapon hits, with an overall top damage from 382 to 372 from its original version. But also, a very interesting thing now is that it gives plus 358 AP to Cat Bear and Dire Bear forms only. Also, it hurls the Fireball 273 to 333 fire damage and melts the target's armor, increasing physical damage taken by 10 and dealing an additional 75 damage over 10 seconds. And as last, 20% chance to deal 25 fire damage to all nearby enemies when you attack or when you're struck by a melee attack. The proc chance is 20%. So, definitely some updated properties. Now, what I'm curious about is why they decided, in my opinion, to make this a druid weapon. Now, this is not only mainly druids, but it does have druid support now, where druids are going to want to go after this. For the past couple weeks in Phase 3, a lot of people have been getting the Arcanite bars in preparation to get this epic item. It's going to take them a lot of Molten Core runs, but they are ready to get this item. So this is something completely out of left field. Now, in my personal opinion, without memeing aside, I know I like to joke, but I genuinely think they should have done something else for druids in terms of a legendary item. I think Sulfuras' hammer has always been an item that is mainly paladin. I know shamans can get access to this too. Maybe your typical arms warrior would roll on it. But this is something that is 100% paladin written all over it. Now, I'm curious to see how is this subject to change. Is there any other legendaries they might update in properties down the line to give support to other classes as well? But overall, I'm very, confused on this one right here, on the decision making on making this shared with the druids as well, because listen to my druid brethrens out there, we've been sharing things since Nomer. Hell, we had to go after the same freaking crowd pummeler, and I hated that item. I hated that little plunger of an item. I didn't want to, share my loot with druids. I want druids to have their own thing so they can roll. Maybe them and rogues get something. And then, us, we get to roll like warriors since we both share 2 hands, So 2 and 2. But now you're making this, where it's like you know, more than 2. Now it's going to be 3. Now it's like, this might create some, you know, little turmoil, a little controversy. However, not going to hate it. Much love to you. At the end of the day, though, when it comes to the Papatello Guild, you best believe that when it comes to the Hand of Ragnaros, the guild that I'm rocking with, and my guild leader knows this already, alright? I'm going for that mofo. And I don't care what druid, and even my boy Saber, I don't care what druid wants that. The Paladin right here is getting it. But all jokes aside, much love to you. Hey, at the end of the day, even if they don't change it, it is what it is. Hey, druids, good luck to you on getting the Hand of Ragnaros, alright? The Hand of Ragnaros is going for everybody. Everybody wants it. Even rogues can get it. Settle down. Settle down. However, guys, that's the end of the video before I start choking over here, okay? Much love to you. I hope you enjoyed it. It's all fun and games at the end of the day. I hope you guys have a damn good one. Keep on keeping on. And shine on, guys. Much love to you. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to make these videos on a daily basis. Lock it in, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Let's get a little sip of the water. I feel something clogged on aisle 9. 1 second. The hell did I just hit? Any of you guys Star Wars fans? Listen. Selling the Darksaber for $10.99 on my OnlyFans. End the video right. Sir, I said what I said. I'll beat that. Get down. Get down.